Hello friends, welcome to our next lesson. Today we're going to be talking about various ways that we can change the pitch of a note. Starting today with lesson 22 on flats. Now I'm going to read some of this, but some of it I'm just going to go over with you individually. But the first thing up here, the flat sign, which looks like this, right? Looks kind of like a fancy lowercase b. The flat sign before a note lowers the pitch of that note. On the keyboard, this right here, play the next key to the left, whether black or white. So just to kind of demonstrate, and I'll zoom in some for that. If you look here, we'll just use E for example. When we're talking about moving the pitch lower, we would move towards the left of the keyboard. So if we make E flat, we move one key down to make this key E flats, right? So we wrote it out, and I'll write it here just so you can see it better. But E would become E flat. And you can do that with any pitch. You can make it lower. Sometimes you don't always add this flat sign to it. You would actually change the note name or something like that. But we'll talk about that later. In general, though, when we lower a pitch, we move to the left on the keyboard, or we make the sound lower. Make the sound lower. Now, this next part is talking about when we add the flat sign. If we were writing out the letter name, right, so B flat or C flat or D flat or anything like that, we would write the word out to the right of the note. So like here, A flat, right, and write it out that way. Or if you're writing out the symbol, A flat, put it to the right of the note. However, if you're writing the note on the staff, you always want to put the flat sign before the notes. Okay, and that's because when we're reading music, we need to be able to respond to it. So we read from left to right. So we would see this flat sign and know that we need to alter the note that's after. So if you're writing the note on the staff, like it is here with this whole note, you put the flat sign before you actually play the note. If you're writing it out, you put the flat sign after, or you spell out the word after. Right? Now this next part just shows you where the flat sign should occur if you're writing in the space or if you're writing on the line. So if you're writing on the line, the flat sign gets divided evenly like the note would. Right? You can see it here. If you're writing in the space, the flat sign also fits inside the space, right? The stem would go up for that. Now we could practice a few over here. All right, so we'll just look at them and do that. So all of these are on the line, so we want the flat sign to be on the line also, right? And all these are in the space, so they also go in the space. All right, so there's that, easy enough. And if we say them, E flats, G flats, B flat, D flat, F flat. Now that's assuming we have a treble clef, right? It would be different if it's bass clef. Okay, for the next part here, as always, I suggest you pause your video, complete the exercises, and then we'll go over them together. Okay, so exercise number 1 might be a little far away, but I'll read it to you. In the example, write flat signs before each note, that's the first thing, and then write the name of the note below it. So if you write a flat sign before, it's easy enough, right? Just make sure they're in the correct location, line or space. Do this quickly. Now, remember, when we write out the letter name, the flat sign goes after. So we're in bass clef here. That means we have an E flat, A flat, D flat, C flat, G flat, B flat, A flat, G flat, and F flat. Okay? Simple enough. It switches depending upon how you're writing. If it's on the staff, the flat sign comes before. If you're just writing it out, writing out the letter name, then it comes after. Question 2, write the names of the piano keys in the boxes. You can refer back to early in the video on the top of the worksheet for this, but we can go through it. If you want and you know the piano keys or you need some help, we can remember that this 3-key pattern always begins with C, so the D would be after it, then E, and then the 4-key pattern right here, right, with 3 black keys, would just continue. All right, then we can use that as a basis for the rest of the activity. So, it's pointing to this black key. Remember, we moved from this white key lower. This is B, right? Same here. So this becomes B flat. And they've already included the flat sign. E lower, so flat, E flat. A lowered, A flat. D lowered to D flat. And then G lowered to G flat. Okay? All right. Question 3. says write a treble clef and the notes indicated on the staff using half notes. So let's do a treble clef first, right? Got that. Now we're writing half notes for each of these. So we would start G and then add the flat sign before, D, flat sign before, C, flat sign before, A, E, B, and F. Now there's other locations you could have put them, right? The F could have been on the top line also, so that's also correct. So not being too picky here, as long as you get in the correct spot and you put the flat sign in the correct location. Okay, question 4 says to write a bass clef and notes indicated on the staff using quarter notes. All right, so bass clef first, then we want an E flats, right? So quarter notes, E, C, and all these are flat here. F, A, D, D flat of course, B flats, and then G flats. Now just like the above exercise, you could have put the G in a different location, or any of these in a different location. As long as you get one of them and it's in one of the correct locations, then you should be good. All right, if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, have an awesome day.